Awesome. All right, cool. Now we're going to cover some breaking changes with Cadence. Bastian, do you want to take over?
Yeah, hi everyone. For those that don't know me, I'm Bastian. I'm part of the Flow team. I'm working on Cadence, and I'm here to tell you about the next exciting release of Cadence. It's called Secure Cadence. And the big announcement here is that we will allow permissionless deployment in the next upcoming Spork in June. And this is the first step towards the next big release of Cadence called Stable Cadence. The goal there is to make it sort of complete. We don't want to make more breaking changes, but we also want to make Cadence awesome. We learned a lot of lessons since the initial release, and we want to make some last breaking changes that will make the language much better. Um, and it's much easier to do that when there are still just 1,000 contracts compared to sort of like the future that we envision, where there are tens or hundreds of thousands of contracts that need to be updated. So we're going to make the first set of breaking changes of Stable Cadence in the upcoming Spork. And there is an important deadline. It's beginning of June. It will be deployed to testnet, and then a week later, this release will also go to mainnet. So if you have any contracts on mainnet and testnet, it's highly likely that they will need to be updated. The changes themselves should be relatively small. Often they're just maybe a line of code. However, many contracts are affected. So if you have a contract on mainnet, how will that work? So once the Spork is done, we will enable permissionless updates immediately. So if you have a contract, you are free to update it. You don't need any permission from the Flow team. And then shortly after, a couple days, couple weeks later, we will also enable deployment of new contracts for everyone. So if you have currently contracts on testnet, it's probably exciting to be able to deploy them to mainnet finally. So as for the breaking changes, you can find all of that information in the forum post. Please have a look. It was announced in the developer updates channel. I will put the link to the announcement into the chat as well. There you can find all the information, all the breaking changes, what changed and why, how you can update the code. In addition, we also developed a tool that you can use to analyze your contracts and transactions and scripts. It will tell you exactly where and what needs to change. There's some places in your code that we can't find with that tool, so please read through the announcement, look through the changes, and think about sort of how they affect your code. And then we have published a new emulator build, new CLI release. Install it and run your tests and make sure that everything works with the emulator. Once everything works with the emulator, you should be good to go to be able to test it on testnet once the Secure Cadence release gets deployed in the Spork. Please let us know if you have any questions or any issues or problems in the forum or here on Discord. And thank you so much for your patience and being part of the Flow ecosystem.
Thanks, Bastian.
That's all I had.